In the vast universe of Starbound, brimming with life and culture across many species, there exists a grand culinary concoction. It is the only consumable considered of legendary status, and it has earned the title from its myriad of benefits. This is the Ultimate Juice. 5 fruits from across the stars blended together to bring and multiply their benefits, with none of the detriments they may carry. With a base value of 1200 pixels and an effective vendor value of 240, the Ultimate Juice is the most valuable item that can be created at the kitchen counter. Unfortunately, all 5 of the ingredients to this cocktail, Boneboo, Feathercrown, Oculemon, Neon Melon, and Toxic Top, have no presence on this worthless rock of a planet called Earth, but that's not going to stop me from trying to find out if this juice is truly ultimate, because somehow I have determined that this is the best use of my mortal span. By the context of what each fruit does in-game, taking the descriptions and other recipes it's used in, I have determined the most likely Earth equivalent for each ingredient. First off, the Boneboo. The sole description Starbound provides for this fruit is one word: spooky. It's found growing on arid planets within mini-biomes where all things are bones, even the trees and the dirt. The only real hints we have at what earth fruit it resembles are what this fruit is used in creating, most notably, the fish in a bone recipe, which is simply a fish jammed into one of these fruits. It's also used in a pie and donut where the primary flavor is itself, along with the hot bone, which is simply boneboo roasted with chili. Fish in Starbound all produce pale meat, which is generally what is associated with fish, unless you're in Washington where you can barely walk a dozen steps before seeing another way to prepare salmon. But I digress. When it comes to serving fish with fruit, particularly pale fish, the best thing I've found is to pair it with peach, even though it's not spectacular. I mean, fucking most people don't even serve fruit with their fish. The two clash so heavily in flavor and texture and whatnot. See, that's why you always just do like a starch, like a rice pilaf or mashed potatoes. Anyways, it's peach. Best I could figure was peach. Moving on. Next is Feathercrown. In-game description says it's quite sweet, and some of the recipes it's used in, including Feathercrown jam and feather food, are highly valued by the Avian race. Now then, each non-human race in Starbound strongly emulates a particular Earth culture: the Nova Kid with the American Wild West, the Hylotal, the Japanese, the Glitch in medieval Western Europe, the Apex and that sort of ultra-modern weirdness, the Florin with native tribal that's clearly more advanced than anyone gives them credit for. Think of it like a Cahokia sort of situation. Nobody ever acknowledges Cahokia, but there friggin' was. Anyways, and the Avians with Mesoamerican, particularly the Aztecs, mostly by the names they use and their vein of ritual sacrifice. Please tell me that's pronounced Tlaxcala. Please, I've used it for over a decade. I don't want to be wrong! What this leads to is that Feathercrown is most likely papaya. Sweet fruit, and this species that's basically space Aztecs value it highly. Next up is the Oculemon, and honestly that's kind of obvious. It's just regular yellow lemon. It might be more like old citron, but I don't know if I can even get that here. I'm not saying where. It's obvious where I am. You figured it out by now, and I'm ashamed of it enough as it is. Okay, moving on. Then we got the Neon Melon. The descriptors and such hint mostly at cantaloupe melon, but there was a time I was hoping it was more akin to the Crenshaw, so that I wouldn't have to use something so ubiquitous. I don't know, get points for obscurity. That shit edited out. That's fucking dumb. Finally, the Toxic Top. This one's got the least context of any of them, and Boneboo was already here. The recipes it's used in don't really show what kind of flavor it's supposed to have, so I've had to go off of its physical appearance, and the possibility that while it looks toxic, it might just be deceptive, even though it does inflict poison in-game. So I figured the closest it's to is the Opuntia fruit, commonly called the cactus pear by people who aren't trying to flex their knowledge of technical terms. Jesus fucking shit, Radiant. Remember, your audience isn't your dumbass neighbors, and you have friends to whom your knowledge pales in comparison to, and for whom your jealousy is immeasurable for the fact that they live in fucking Scandinavia, when I will never be able to set foot there in my entire life. I'll never escape this goddamn hell pit! Ah! It's about 2 hours later, and I've calmed down enough to finish this, so I'm gonna switch over to the actual, video bit. Okay, well, that was certainly an endeavor. I swear to fuck, I'm gonna throw half the cantaloupe at her. But yeah, here it is. It's liquid, but at what cost? I strained out all the cactus pear seeds. But yeah, it doesn't really taste like much. Oh jeez, what was that? Okay, I mean, here goes. It's friggin' Starbound Ultimate Juice. I don't think the game ever said it was supposed to taste good, but I mean, it tastes like blender juice. It's definitely what you get when you put a bunch of fruit in a blender. It's not terrible. It's not great. There it is. I mean, I'm definitely not gonna make it again, but I mean, it's definitely a blender. It's definitely blender juice, if that makes any sense. All right, there it is. Yeah, that was a visceral preparation process. Oh fuck, not this. Hit the space bar and then it did the thing on that window, not this one. Bone Boo, Feather Crown, Oculemon, Neon Melon. Did I say lemon or melon for Ocu? Good lord, why are those two right next to each other? I need a better chair. Okay, I'm gonna stand for the rest of this. This chair is fucking unbelievable. The sole description Starbound provides for this fruit is one word. Squeaky. Squeaky? What the fuck is squeaky? What am I, a duchy or something? Fish in Starbound all produce pale meat, which is generally, it's not the worst kind of fucking voice crack you get. Is that one where like that kind of frothy saliva is like in the up to your tongue, so you like that's how you get that whole. That's how you get the. And you can't even justify it, because it's the one where you suddenly start going, Mayor Cavendish has been chained in the tower. Oh, my cakes, come meet me in Chicago. You know, that's that fucking voice crack. It's infuriating, and no amount of water is going to save you from that. Race in Starbound strongly emulates a particular Earth. It really just goes to show, how much do I hate Earth that I can't even pronounce the goddamn name right when it's called upon me to do so. Sweet fruit and this species that's basically space Aztecs hot. Ah! Value it highly, not highly value it. Ah! Finally, the toxic top. Oh fucking Christ! Got Shakes and Fidget running in the background, and the timer of traveling just ran out, and suddenly I just hear. Yeah, I know it's not the fucking worst country in the world to live in. I know it's not the dumbest of them, but it's the one that's the proudest of being dumb. It's the one that'll fucking happily salute the flag every day while pissing blood because they can't afford to check a doctor and see what the hell's going on with them. Who the fuck wants someone from a country like that in the world? Fucking Christ, I mean, even if I could move to Norway, and no, I couldn't actually. I can't. I'll never be able to do that. If I move to Norway, of course, fucking if even suggests it's a possibility. If I moved to Norway, like became fluent in Norwegian, right? Got the full citizenship deal, like passed a citizenship test, was awarded citizenship, got rid of American citizenship, like renounced that shit, and denounced the country every day of my life. I'd still be fucking called American more often than my goddamn name, like. The fact that I'm here at all just closes too many doors for me to even bother.